What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Fanzon. You are listening to the Hidden Doors podcast. I'm your host, and I just had a conversation with Alex Molden. He is an ex-NFL football player, and now he teaches leadership in his podcast, in his book. He's a professional speaker. He has an interesting story, and he's a lot of wisdom to share with us. I hope you enjoy the conversation. If you do, give me a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on more videos like this. I hope you enjoy. Awesome. Thank you, Alex, for coming on here. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I see you doing a lot of damn things. I looked at your LinkedIn profile. It's like you're like an author, a professional speaker, a leadership coach, a podcaster. Anything else? That's a lot of things to have in one title.
Here's the big one. I'm a dad of 8.
Oh,
let's go, baby! Come on now. I should have put that. I should have put that on there. I need to update my LinkedIn profile.
That is impressive. Man, I'm a father of 1, and
that's tough.
The first one's tough because it's your first one, right? You got to get used to it. You got 2, 3, 4, 8. You are probably a professional at this now.
It's kind of like this, being a rookie in the NFL. It's like, man, everything is coming so fast. The athletes are faster, the coaches are meaner. Everything is so much speed, and decisions are, and now it's like having one kid. It's like, man, every day is something new. What
was harder, rookie in the NFL or having 8 kids?
What was harder? 8 kids. Come on, man. I got to make sure I preface this right, Chris. All with one woman, my wife. I got to make sure I make sure I put that out there.
That is a lot of presents for birthday presents, and if you celebrate the holidays, that is a lot of presents you got there.
Man.
It's a lot of love too, though.
Oh yeah, tremendous. It's our house stays busy. Now we got 3 kids out the house. We only got 5 left, so we're Gucci.
Yeah, it's still a good amount, more than normal people have, more than the average household. So you got a lot of fun.
My wife is crazy, man. I was done at 3 kids. I'm like, 3 boys. I'm like, we're good. And then I'm a sucker though.
Your wife must be a fighter, man. Like let's be honest, having a baby is tough. That is tough work.
It's scary. It's tough. It's scary. And it's like, but it's the best thing. Like it slows things down for you, makes you think, helps you be more intentional. And it helps you ask the question like, man, what do I want to get out of life?
Yeah. I think it also lights a little bit of a fire under your feet too. Like I got to get stuff. I got to start getting the ball rolling on this one.
Absolutely.
I don't see you, but I think it's still rolling. So,
yeah.
So what are you doing now? Like, what is taking up the most of your time at the moment?
Man, you know what? Coaching. So I coach individuals to help them become better entrepreneurs, better leaders. My main, I won't say audience, but my main clients is elite level athletes, whether they're finishing up with college ball or they're finishing up with their pro ball, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever, is I help them transition. And because I was that person, I was that person that was transitioning out of football and all the things that come along with that. Because you've been playing, I was playing ball since I was 12, and I was a late starter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't start playing football until I was 8th grade. And so I was always, I was behind. And so playing when I was 12, till I finished, I was 32. There's a lot of things that gets lost in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, um,
To get to that level, man, you got to be that's got to consume a lot of your daily life, I would assume. This trying to be the best athlete to get to the NFL. Whew, you got to
yeah,
be an amazing athlete. I assume that takes a lot of time, effort, dedication, discipline. You're
absolutely.
saying some things get lost when you have so much of that dedication, I would assume.
Yeah. So, meaning there's a certain character, Chris, that we all need to have or be looking at to what does it take? What type of character do I need to take on to be, an electrical engineer? The best. I want to be the best electrical engineer. What type of character does it take? If I want to be a lawyer, what type of character does it take? It's the same thing with professional athletes. And I was able to see that early on. And like, okay, for me, I need to understand that I need to be willing to do the tough things that nobody else wants to do. How do I set myself apart? Right? I need to start working out whenever I can, when it's inconvenient. Okay, so I need to be able to understand that. And here's another thing that I understood at an early age because I got let down a lot when I would ask my homeboys, "Hey man, you want to go work out? You want to go run some routes? You want to go do this, that, and the other?" And it was great when they said yes, but it hit me when they was like, "Nah, man, I can't do that." Or even worse, they say, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there," and then they don't show up. So early on, I figured this: it's going to be a lonely road. It's lonely. It's lonely in anything. When you're trying to become the best at whatever that is, it's lonely. And so I understood that early on. And I
How
understood.
early? Were you like this in high
Oh shoot.
school?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. In high school, it started in high school. I think I was probably like a freshman.
Got it.
And so I figured, okay, I can't depend on anybody else. Like coaches, yes. Anytime I became a sponge. So I knew I was lacking. I wasn't like that kid that was like, oh, I'm gonna be the first in the line because I'm the best. I'm the leader. No, I did the exact opposite. I said I know my limitations. I know that I'm not, my football IQ is delayed because I didn't even grow up watching it. Not until later on. It's not like on Sundays, my dad had the TV on. On Saturdays, we were watching college football. It wasn't like that. I didn't play catch with my dad, right? So I knew I was behind in terms of like the IQ part, the knowledge part. So anytime I went to camps or clinics or any of that type of stuff, I was in the back. But I wasn't in the back because I was shy or because, I didn't have confidence. I was in the back because I figured, it's like, man, if I watch some of these guys who have more experience than me, and if I listen to the coaches, I can and not talking BS to the guys, behind me or in front of me. If I just watch and learn and listen and take mental notes, I can get coached by not even doing the rep, the actual physicality of it. So by the time it's my turn, I should be doing it perfectly because I'm getting extra mental reps by watching guys in front of me. So I
You've
started.
had this whole mindset since high school. I have a whole thing I talk about. It's like it took me like 23 years to finally figure out that I wasn't as smart and confident than I actually was. And I'm like, oh, I'm way more open to hearing perspectives and looking at and talking to people and trying to learn as much as I can. But you had that since high school. So you've always had this kind of like leadership mentality, I would say. It seems like from ninth grade, you had this type of mentality.
I would say, yeah. And I knew what type of character that it took. I knew what my strengths and my weaknesses are, and the ability really to learn and be a sponge in any environment. So, but Chris, it took me a long time to see that when I separated, when I was done playing football in the NFL, 8 years, I'm 32. I'm thinking it's going to be, oh man, I'm gonna be playing golf every day. I'm gonna work out when I want to. I got money in the bank, cars, got houses. It's it's going to be just joy and fun from here on out for the next 50 years. And, you get to a point, I know for me, it was like, man, 4 months. I was like, man, this ain't all cracked up to what I was thinking. Like, getting
Was
up
it
and
because you got bored? Was it because you got bored of being in that highly competitive environment? Or because, like, hey, I still got another 50 years to earn and build a career for myself. Like, I need to provide for my family and all this stuff.
it was really like waking up in that competitive, like that whole locker room, that camaraderie, all that
Yeah, you don't have that in the
being a
corporate
team. Yeah,
environment.
yeah, you don't have that. And I didn't even know like corporate. I didn't even know none of that. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out, what I want to do next. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it took me a long time to really figure out like what am I passionate about outside of football? Like what did I want to do? I want to wake up and I want to do it. The same passion, that same feeling I had when I was playing sports. And it took me a long time to figure it out. Like long time, couple years. And I had a job interview that really it was one of those moments that when you get punched in the gut and you don't see it coming, so you don't have enough time to flex. And no, this happened. So we was in San Diego, finished playing football. We was chilling. I was, man, living the life, playing golf, all that type of stuff, and trying to figure out like what's next. And the housing market started to slide. And so, you know what? Let's move up to Portland, to
This
Oregon.
was
My wife is
2008. 2008,
yeah.
you said? Yeah.
We moved up in 2006, so we saw a little bit beforehand.
Got
But
it.
we
Got it.
moved up here in 2006 because my wife is from there. We both went to University of Oregon. Her family's from here, and moved up here, and saving money. Things are cheaper. Cool, right? Still, it's like, man, I don't know what I want to do. And before we left, for 6 months, I worked just part time at a nonprofit in San Diego. So I figured, like, kind of giving back, helping out those less fortunate. Maybe because I did a lot of that when I was playing ball in the league. So I was like, figured maybe this is my calling. And so came up here to Portland, got online and started looking for different opportunities. And I was like, man, oh, there's a position. It's I don't know, it wasn't a director or anything like that. It was like I think it was like an entry level at a nonprofit.
Was this the punch in the gut interview that you were about to go on?
Yeah,
The one that you're not expecting.
yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Let me go online. Let me get my little resume, put my little resume together. My brother helped me, and I sent it off. Now you got to understand, I'm a former NFL player. I play DB. As DBs, our confidence is through the roof, right? So I sent it off. I'm like, oh, I got this. The job interview, that's a formality. I know I got this. Plus, the NFL would donate $5,000 to any nonprofit that employs a former player. So I'm like, oh, this is golden. And so I got a call. They want to interview me. So I was good. So I did my research, checked out I checked out the what they were all about, who they were serving, who's the bosses, whatever all that stuff, means. And so I got dressed up, my little suit tie, looking clean and stuff. Got shiny shoes, got shiny belt, I'm looking clean. And I go in there and tell them, I'm here for my job interview. Oh,
Not
Alex,
happening.
yeah, Alex, so great, yeah, have a seat. Miss Tulane, she'll call you here shortly. And I went there. She called me in, sat down. She's going through my resume. Okay, yeah, this is great. So Alex, let me ask you a couple questions. And then she started asking me questions about the organization. Now I know how to prepare, right? I've done that in college and in the NFL. I know how to watch film, take notes on stuff. So I was doing that. I know I did that. But then she started asking me deeper questions about myself. Deeper questions like, Alex, what are you passionate about? Alex, what's your purpose? How can you help others? She started asking me all these deeper questions, questions I've never even asked myself, Chris. And it finally got down after about, the interview only took about 15, 20 minutes. And then she said, Alex, why do you want this job? And my dumb ass said, I just need to get out the house. I couldn't lie. I don't,
Hey, it's the truth.
It's the truth. And then she said, honey, sweetie, she was an older black lady. Honey, sweetie, you're not going to get this job. And let me give you a little bit of advice. Before you go on any more job interviews, you need to find out exactly who you are. She got up, walked me out of the facility.
She said that to you?
The place. She said that to me. She walked me out, told me good luck. I went to my car. I still get emotional about it. I went to my car and I cried my eyes out. Now I've been cut before from teams. I was released by the Chargers, and then cut by the Redskins and the Lions. And it's embarrassing when you go up and you talk to the general manager. They tell you, hey, your services are no longer needed. Hand in your playbook. And then you go down to your locker with 2 security guards following you down to your locker. And then they give you a black trash bag. And you bag up all your stuff from your locker. And then they walk you out of the facility. And then they close the door. That's embarrassing because all your teammates or your former teammates, they see you and, it's just awkward. And
they really need the security guards to follow you around. Like, give me a break.
It happens.
Well, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you think that you knew, it's like somewhere deep down inside, you don't know what your passion is yet, right? But maybe you were going for this job because something you knew, but you didn't know. It's like one of those like things that like for me, it's like I didn't even know I wanted to do all this stuff. And one day it just hit me like, oh, for the past 7 years, I've been doing things like this. And this has been my passion. And it's obvious now, but like in the middle of it, it was not obvious. Was it one of those things where it's like I knew, but I didn't know? It'd take a little more time for me to figure out what my real passion was.
Absolutely. Like I knew I wanted to help people at the ground level, at the base level. I knew I wanted to help people. And so I guess I kind of figured out, like I would figure it out because I'm at a job and I'm helping people. I'll figure it out. And when she told me that, and I went to my car and I didn't cry. I wept for about 10, 15 minutes, banging my hands on the steering wheel of my car because this lady who just met me figured out like the deep, dark, the inner me. Like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my purpose was. And so I was just like, man, stuck. Like I was thinking after football, I got money in the bank, right? Money in the bank. That means nothing if you don't have a purpose. If you don't know what your purpose is, that means nothing. Healthy kids, beautiful wife, it means nothing if you don't know what God put you on this planet to do. And I thought for the longest it was playing football. I thought I was blessing people by me playing football.
I'm sure you were.
Maybe, yeah, for a short time. But once you're done, it's like, okay, now I got to find a new purpose, right? And so that kind of started me having to like, man, and it took me after that moment, it took me a while, but I vowed that I need to like, what is my purpose? And after a couple of months of like thinking and reading books and whatnot, I was like, hold on. I got to look what gave me success on the football field, right? And so for me, I just it took me back to where my second year in the NFL, and I was first round draft pick. I came in to the Saints, and that whole coaching staff. Hell, our coach quit like 4 games in the season. Our head coach Jim Moore, he quit, and so we kind of knew that next year we're gonna have a new coach, right? And so we did end up getting a new head coach, Mike Ditka. And then I got a new defensive back coach. His name was Willie Shaw. Now Willie was, he was a veteran coach for over 20 years, successful teams. And I remember like our first practice, it was in the spring. It's a mini camp. And I was excited because I knew this year I was going to be the starter, right? And so, after practice, because Willie wouldn't say a whole bunch, he would just watch, right? And I remember he said, 2-5. That was my number, 25, right? 2-5, come on over here. And I was like, oh, this is Willie. He's going to coach me. I'm going to learn a ton right now. And he came, I came over there. He said, 2-5, you want to play a long time in this league? And I was like, absolutely. Yes. Because I knew if I play a long time, the average career is 3.5 years, right? If I play a long time, I'm going to make a lot of money. So I was like, I'm about that money. Yes, yeah. I want to play a long time. He said, okay, you need to master these 3 things. And I was like, okay. I didn't have a notepad or a smartphone. This was in 97, so there weren't no smartphones, but I was ready to take mental notes. He said, you need to master these 3 things: assignment, alignment, and adjustment. I was like, what? I was like, that's it? That's it.
Is that all he said?
That's all he said. And then he said, because I was like, with a puzzled look in my face, and he said, you need to know your job. You need to know your assignment, Alex. I said, okay, I know my assignment. Okay. Yeah, but that's not enough. You need to know other people's assignments who can affect you, how you do your job. You need to know.
Alignment.
You need to know. Yeah, I play corner. Alex, you need to know the safety, the strong safety, the free safety. You need to know the nickel's job. You need to know the linebacker, the defensive lineman's job. When you can start to understand everybody's role and how they affect yours and how you play your position, how you affect their jobs, we will have a very successful defense. You need to understand your assignment, not just your assignment, but everybody else that can impact you. Okay, so I need to look in my playbook and not just worry about left corner. He said, exactly. You need to know everybody's role on every defense we call. Okay, so I got to dig a little bit deeper. Okay, got it. Alignment.
A lot of studying.
That's right, a lot of studying, right? And not a lot of people want to do that. And then he said alignment. So alignment, he said, Alex, half the time you were misaligned. When it's cover 2, you're aligning 6 yards off, 1 yard inside. You're supposed to line 5 yards off, 1 yard outside. Yeah, you're right. I know I'm right. He said, when we're playing these different coverages, you need to be aligned correctly. He said, Alex, you're playing against some of the best athletes on planet Earth. You cannot give them an edge. You are beat. You could be beat before the ball is even snapped based off your alignment. So you need to align yourself correctly every snap, no matter how you feel. Okay, I need to align correctly. Okay, got it. And then the last part, he said adjustment. He said, I watched you and you weren't even ready for the different shifts, the different motions, the audibles. And this is just our first day of practice. You wasn't ready. You need to be ready to make the different adjustments on the fly. This is the National Football. Nobody just lines up and hikes the ball. This isn't college. This isn't high school. Every snap, they're shifting. They're trying to see what you're doing. So you need to be ready to make these different adjustments. Okay, got it. And I started to implement that like that day changed my life, changed not just my football life, but my entire life, because that gave me structure on the field and it helped me have success. Despite, starting off, I was fast, I was a good athlete. But as you get older, all those things, and then you get injuries, all those things start to dissipate. So you really need to hang your hat on something that's stable, that's foundational. It's not just about how much you bench, you know, despite what people in the public, they
Yeah.
think, oh, he runs a 4.3, he's going to be awesome. It doesn't work like that, you know. So
It's funny they don't teach this in college. Like it's really that much of a level up when you go from really competitive college ball to pro football. It's like
it's
it seems like way it's like a more of a mind game too, like the strategic side of
dude,
it. It
it's
seems like you
all
have yeah.
absolutely, it's all in the details. It's all in the little things. Because if you don't correct those little things, they become huge. And so, getting back, like when I owned those three things, assignment, alignment, adjustment, man, I had success. And so when I was stuck, I finished crying, boo-hooing, and banging my heads, and then I took some time to some months to figure out, like, man, what I wanted. And so I started to take that same framework and apply it in life. So my assignment, like it used to be football, that's not it anymore. So I got to dig down deep. Well, what's my assignment? And if I dig, that maybe really means what's my purpose? So I had to ask myself, like, what gives me joy? What do I like? What do I not like? Who are the type of person I want to be? So I started asking myself these things and writing them down. And then when it talked about alignment, I need to align myself to something that's bigger than me. And it used to be, honestly, it was my career that came first. Then it was my family. Then it was my faith. And those two things, they can, my career, I can get cut, I can get fired. It happens all the time, right? And so it can't really be my career. And even my family. The divorce rate in the NFL after 5 years, Chris, 75%. 75%. I didn't want to be that. I've seen it. I've gone through it. My mom and dad divorced. I didn't want to do that. But I couldn't put my foundation in just my family. So for me, I was like, I need to look at my faith because I know the different things. I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't. But I learned about it. And I had impactful moments in my life that made me reflect like, okay, faith, I need to have something that's rooted in something that's foundational. And so I started to, I got saved. I got with people who faith based, and I learned, and I figured, I said, you know what? I need to align my life with my faith being first, which tells me to have my family first, but faith, my family, and my career. And then things started to take off. I finally got into a job. I started training athletes. The reason why I started in training because I was impacted as a young kid from Colorado Springs by somebody who's like, hey, this is the way. I can help you become a better athlete. And then all the other stuff that'll come. Like what's your dream? You want to get a scholarship? If you train and you apply those principles, you can get that. And so I wanted to be that person to somebody else. So I started training athletes. And so it happened, Nike World Headquarters is right up the street. And so I started training athletes over there. And then lo and behold, man, my career took off. I was traveling the world, training some of the best athletes on earth. But
What ages are they when you're training them? Are they like college?
So
College
there
or
was
pros?
youth to college. And then there were athletes that would come to campus to Nike World Headquarters. And I was the first one that they would call, like Des Bryant, Russell Westbrook. I did Kawhi Leonard. Did some things in different, like in Vegas. And I went to Taiwan to work and train with Russell Westbrook and other athletes over there. But all these things started to align for me once I got aligned with my foundation. And
Two
then,
careers that take off. That's a nice life right there.
right?
Most people are happy if one career takes off. You got the NFL, and then you had another career take off. It seems like you might have another one after this too.
Well,
You
that's the thing. It's
you got
like
a book out.
there was a dip. There was a time when I didn't know what was next, but it took
Yeah.
me down to that deep moment to really like, okay, what does my life look? How do I structure my life? And then the adjustment part, like I needed to adjust who my relationships, because a lot of my relationships, Chris, they were transactional. I didn't want to have anything to do with you if you couldn't give me something. To be perfectly honest, if you couldn't, if I wasn't a contract like money, or if it wasn't you trying to elevate me, I didn't want anything to do with you. It was very transactional instead of just relational. Most of my relationships, and it took a coach. Like I ended up getting a coach, a leadership or personal development coach, a life coach. I had him, still have him, but he helped me and he saw things in me. He said, Alex, you said that you want to be a speaker because back in 2015, 2016, I wanted to become a speaker and I needed some help. So I got this coach and he followed me around and just interact with me and all this stuff. And he said, Alex, you said you want to be a speaker? I said, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. First, you got to find your story. I just told you it, right? Um, and you know what? How you treat people is you don't treat everybody the same. I was like, what? He said, yeah. We just had lunch, and I saw how you interacted with the chef, the cook. You treated him differently than you did that executive director over there who you just spoke with. I was like, for real? What? He said, yeah. You're treating them totally differently based on where they are, based on their platform. That's not a good thing, Alex.
That's a hard look inside yourself
Oh
to see.
man, I was like, what? And I remember, I remember like having this conversation with one of my teammates my rookie year with the Saints. And we were driving to the game and we were running late. And it was a long line to get off the freeway and get to the stadium or we would be late. So he had this nice car. When we buzzed through there, we cut everybody off. And then we got in line. I was like, oh, whew, we was going to be late. He said, yeah, Alex, we can do that. You play for the Saints. That started my mind like, that's okay to treat people to do that. And that started like just thinking that, hey, I'm an NFL player. I'm a professional athlete. I get paid lots of money. People know me and my name. I can do whatever I want. And that stuck with me because I had a lot of friends that thought the same way.
That's understandable if I was a pro athlete, it's understandable to slip into that mindset, you know?
Yeah, because and I see it. Trust me, I see it. When I was still training athletes, is that these kids who are talented, they are given free passes from some of the closest people to them, their parents, their coaches, the parents of some of their teammates. I see it today. We have a 13-year-old. He's a hell of an athlete. Like he might be even better than the athlete we have who's in the NFL now. He's a rookie. This 13-year-old right now is a better athlete than he is. And me and my wife, we see how people treat him, the 13-year-old. And for us, what matters most and what I coach on and what I talk on leadership. And there's different things that causes me to follow you or you to follow me or others. But for us, the biggest thing is character. So his ability, that's a huge influencer, especially when it comes to athletes. Hell, it happens in corporate America. Right? There's these people who go to different schools and they have all this experience and they come in, they have great ability. But if they're an asshole, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And so our thing is to shape our son, not based off his ability, but who he is, his character. I want you to, A, be a good person. Now how do I, just like anything else, how can I help him practice being a good person? I need to be a good person because he sees me, he watches me every day. So, there's different things that's going to cause people to follow you. And I've seen it. I pulled the things out of my life and I practiced them. And, for the people that I coach, I help them become, better leaders and help them just become better people. If you're a better person, we'll teach you all the other stuff in terms of being a better
So,
leader.
so you had a coach to call you out on your bull crap, and now you're extending the favor to other people. It's like sometimes you do need someone who's maybe wiser and have seen more and is more grounded, have more experiences to give you those life lessons. Because yeah, you're right. Like it's so important to be a good person. Like it makes you a leader, and leaders help shape the industry. Leaders help people grow and meet everyone's full potential. It's so important. Like I can totally tell the character. I never obviously known you before this, but for now it's like I have nothing to give you that I can't give you anything you probably already have outside of like a podcast to talk on. So it's like for you to even come on this podcast shows your character because I'm not paying you, I'm not doing anything here. It's I can see the character, and it's great to see that you're doing that for other people as well.
Well, well, thank you very much, Chris. And, here's the thing, man, I've learned is not everybody understands leadership. They might talk very, like there's fluff, a lot of fluff when it comes to leadership. And leadership, when you boil it down, so I understood like football because I was so late to the party. For me, I needed to boil football down to principles. And so for me, I need to understand it at a foundational level. And so the good thing when I started to kind of play football and I was embarrassed because I didn't know what everybody else knew, but we owned a set of encyclopedia. And so I would look under F for football, and I would look what is the outside linebacker? What is his job? What does he do? Where does he align?
This is
What
in
is the
eighth grade.
DB? No, this was like in fifth grade, fifth or sixth grade. So
Oh, okay.
I learned it at a foundational level. A lot of us we don't learn it at the foundational level. Foundational level of leadership is influence. When you boil it down, it's influence. So how do we influence people? Because we can influence people to follow us or to move away from us. Because it has to work both ways, right? So when I started to look at that in my life, and like, okay, how do I want it? What impact did I want to have? I need to learn this leadership, and everything else took off. My speaking, what I
Yeah,
talk
when did that
about.
hit you? How did this all come about? Because you have a book out, you professionally speak. Did this like all hit you one like for me? Like it hit me like like it didn't hit me until after like I should be doing this. Of course, I'm already doing it. Did it like just like one day or one week? You're like, of course, this
No,
is what I need to be doing.
well, no. So for me, it was like once I started to kind of look at that assignment, alignment, and adjustment, I started to look at my life, and I was, doing great things, you know, just traveling with Nike on Nike's budget and move. Man, I'm in a video game. Nike teamed up with Xbox and created Connect Training, and I was the avatar on the game. So I was able to travel all over the world promoting this and whatnot. It was dope, right? But there was something that was calling. You know what I'm saying? There was another um, I guess, assignment for me, and it started like when people started asking me because I didn't tell anybody that I played in the NFL. When I was working at Nike, It was just people would just find out, say, "Oh, you played on the oh, can you come talk to our team with some motivation or some team building, teamwork talks?" So I was doing that, and I was doing it for free just for because they asked me.
How did they know that you were good at this? Just from hearing you talk
I
around the
wasn't
office or
good,
something?
Chris. I was terrible. What are you talking about? I would go in there and just tell stories, just tell a story, and I wouldn't connect the dots on what the principles were. So I was telling different stories and shit. Man, I could have been telling stories that can turn people away from me, or teach. I was teaching them if they would take the story, and I didn't lay down the foundation, the principles of it. I could have been making. I think I did make people worse leaders, right? So once I got a coach, a speaking coach, and it said, Alex, you already have a platform. You played in the NFL. There's a lot of people that look up. They will see that and think that, oh man, he got some. So it's not just about telling a story. Boil that story down and what impact can that give people to become better. So I started to do that. And man, I get great enjoyment getting up on stages, talking to different organizations, not just about like the leadership piece and the team building, but it's like how do you communicate? That's an influencer. How do you make people feel? That's an influencer, right? Your knowledge, your ability, your relationships, your character, all these things are different influencers. So you need to be better, I tell them, at hiring the right people, the right people. So you got to do a deep dive into their character. I help them ask the different questions that shows what type of person they are. And so I got good at that. Of course, having a coach that pours into me, now all those things that are already within me that I've done research in my life, that's why I wrote the book. And I wrote it during a pandemic. I wrote a book during the pandemic, and I started a podcast during the pandemic. But all these things, man, they give me great joy. I love helping the body at the end of the day, just like I was when I was trying to get that job at that nonprofit, is I know I love helping people. Now, if you don't want to be helped, I'm not the right person for you. You know what I'm saying? Because just like in football or any other sport, I want coaches that tell me the truth. I am that. So my small amount of clients, like, don't work with me if you don't want to be told the truth. There's no judgment. I'm telling you what I see. And I tell you, like, if you want the character to get to this, these are the things you need to start implementing. Daily practice. If you want to be good at anything, if it's important to you, you will work on it every day.
Are there other daily practices that you do? Just, I get it. Like if you're trying to be a football player, you need to be implementing daily things to become better. But like this world, it's fast paced, it's stressful. People are trying to, provide for their family. There's corporate struggles. People are trying to get the next job, and there's 5 people going for the job. COVID hits. This world is a mess. Like, I guess what I'm saying is like, there are certain things that help ground you every day. Like, for example, like certain habits that I try to implement every morning is like I stretch, I have some green tea, and I meditate. And I love to read. I love to write. You are very similar to me in the fact that I wrote a book and started a podcast during the pandemic. I feel like outside of the football thing, we might be living similar lives. Obviously, I'll never be a professional football player, but but outside of that, we have for the past 2 years very similar. Except I have one kid and you have 8. But are there certain things that you do to like keep yourself grounded, especially when things are going tough? Because I talk about a lot that life is going to be like a roller coaster. You're gonna have ups. You're gonna feel great. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm feeling good, and then boom, 2 weeks later, you're like, God damn it, feel horrible, and it's going to be up and down. You got to deal with that. But as long as you're improving yourself, I always say, as long as it's going up and down, a roller coaster, but it's moving upwards in a direction, and you're improving yourself as a person, you're challenging yourself, you're learning. In the minutia, it'll feel like up and down, but you'll still move forward. So you got to take a step back and look at that. But while you're dealing with the ups and downs, there are certain things like your mindset or daily practices that you may implement to keep you grounded as a person so you can continue to stay motivated. Are the things that you do to do that and tell other people so they can like continue to be fierce and motivated, driving for their goal?
Absolutely. Every day. So I wear this. I don't know if you can see that, but I start every alignment, assignment, adjustment.
Oh man, you got to pay Willie some royalties.
Come on now. I know for real. Hey, this is a every day. I look at this. What's my alignment? For me, I want to make somebody better today. I want to make somebody better. I don't want to be transactional. So how do I practice that? Every time before I go into a room, before I go into Starbucks, before I go to the grocery store, before I speak on podcasts, I said, what do I want to get out of this? How do I want this person to feel? So I practice being intentional. Every time I interact with somebody, it's a goal. And I guess it's a low ceiling. I want to make them smile. And I don't want to be all corny and stuff like that. But I practice being non-transactional. So I try to make a relationship. If I'm getting a Starbucks, I don't just hand them my card and then they hand it back and that's it. No, I say, hello, how are you? How you doing today? Not creepy, not like I'm trying to get somebody's number or something like that. I genuinely want to know how they're doing. So I practice that every day. I practice creating relationships. I practice like being the best leader that I can be. Now I can't show everybody like how much, all my knowledge. I can't show everybody all my experience. That's another influencer, right? I can't open up my phone and show everybody all the relationships. But one thing I can do is I can practice being a good person every day. And some days, here's the tough part. I had this conversation with the client yesterday. He had something happened, was stolen from him. And so he was a little on the edge and stuff like that. One of the strongest influencer, Chris, is intuition, how you make people feel. It's also the most unstable. So I have to be intentional with, even though I might feel like crap, somebody might have stole this, our car, my daughter's car, the transmission going out. I might have to buy a new transmission. And when I'm talking to the transmission guy, even though all this stuff, I know I'm like, man, this sucks. I'm still going to try to make this the best part of his day. I'm going to try to make him smile. Hey, man, check it out. Man, I got this transmission. It's tripping. I don't know anything about cars or whatnot, but I think it's the transmission. I know, help me out. You know what I'm saying? Like I get to practice that every day. I can practice making relationships every day. And we all have the ability to do it. But the biggest thing is like, it's like we get stuck into like, man, how we feel. And how we feel is not a roadmap. It's not. It's not directions. It's just information. And you can do what you want to with that information. But I don't think we have the right. I don't. If something bad happens to me, I don't project that onto other people. I try not to. And I'm just more intentional, man. You know what I'm saying? Like after all this reading, writing, I speak with powerful people like yourself. And I love interacting with people. I didn't used to be like that, man. I was that dude, in the back of the room or at the club in the corner. I'm too cool for school. I went in the back of the No, now I was like, man, now I'm not in the club. But yeah, man.
You're in the coffee club.
Yeah, there you go.
getting some coffee.
Yeah.
Are there any like really key books that you've read that you're like, you got to read this book? Like any leadership books that you've read recently that outside of yours, we should talk about yours. Anything else that you read recently?
Man,
Or
right now
in
I'm
your
reading The
lifetime?
5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And it's a leadership fable. It's by Patrick Lencioni. Lencioni. Yeah. The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. So reading that right now. But there's a lot of, I'm trying to think of some other books I have in my bag. But that's one I'm reading right now. But really, it's like what I've started to do is I started, back journaling. So writing down something, just a page, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. I spend on like, man, the different things that's happened in my day. What type of impact do I want to have on somebody, or the type of people that I want to influence? For me, I want to influence those elite or pro level athletes, they're elite level athletes,
So like
because
people like me.
people like you, because you have so much influence. most of those,
I
most
can
of
barely
guys
get
like
100 push-ups in.
most of the guys like you have so much influence, right? They don't know what to do with it, or they don't understand it. They're not very intentional about it, or they don't even know that people outside of their sport look to them and they follow them, and they can be leading them down the wrong path, or they can use that influence to get the career that they want, but they don't know how to use that. They don't know how important or how impactful leadership is. Leadership changed my life. And it started with leading myself.
Yeah. Well, we definitely need more people like you in the world, Alex. A lot more people.
Well,
Seems
thank you,
like you're
man.
helping change the world one person at a time, and it's awesome to see that. Um, I know we're coming up to the hour. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I do want to also make sure we mention the name of your book, the name of your podcast, anything else. Are you selling those damn the wristbands?
Yeah,
That
you
looks
go to
pretty
my site.
cool. I sort of want
You
one of those.
so you go to my site. So it has my book. So you can go to my website. You can get the book and a cool wristband. But it's called
I love it.
it's so the website is yourultimateplaybook.com. And the name of my
Okay.
book is the ultimate playbook for high achievement. The ultimate playbook for high achievement. But you can go to my website, you can just go to alexmolden.com, and it has all the different, it has my speaking, my coaching. I have a course on there, a leadership course, and also my book. So just go alexmolden.com, keep it simple.
Cool. I'm also going to put it in the post so people can just click into it as well.
Okay, cool.
All right, Alex. Pleasure. It was a real pleasure talking with you. I think when you were just starting off in the NFL, I was just getting out of diapers. I was probably like
Oh,
five.
there you go.
I was probably like 5 years old.
I was just starting to like you, man. I was just starting to like you. And then you bring that up. Oh my goodness.
Well, I was probably watching you cracking people as a DB.
Okay.
You probably were getting some any interceptions?
Yeah, 11. I had 11.
11.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. 11 in college, 12 in the pros.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I was probably watching you just picking freaking
yeah.
quarterbacks off.
Now you're back on my good
picks?
side. Now you're back on my good side.
What is the best quarterback you picked from? Like, you ever take a ball from like Peyton Manning or someone like that?
No, played against him. Played against Tom. Drew Brees was my teammate with the Chargers, but I think I picked off Drew Bledsoe on a skinny post right on the goal line. He was trying to score. He was going to score, and I read the quarterback. I used the things that Willie Shaw taught me, and I picked off Drew Bledsoe. I picked off Steve Young too, but that was
Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Isn't that like a really famous quarterback?
Are you joking? What?
I'm trying to remember because
Yes, he's a Hall of Famer.
He played on the 49ers,
Chris,
right?
Yes.
He played on the 40. Yes. Yeah.
Hall of Famer, Monday Night Football. Yeah. Steve
Yeah.
Young, yeah, that's him.
Yeah. I knew that.
You knew that. You knew that.
My my grandpa, he's not alive anymore, but his name was Joe Montana.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have a football sign from Joe Montana. And he's probably older than Steve Young, I would assume.
Yes, yeah,
What?
because they
Yeah,
brought
right.
Steve Young to back him up.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm getting the link there with the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a nice Joe Montana football signed
Oh,
from him.
that's sweet, man. That's what's up.
All right, Alex, I do appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Keep inspiring people. I'm going to send you the link over when this is all finished,
Love it.
and have a good day, man.
Man, let's stay in touch, man. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed this, man. This is fun. Love watching you. You know, I was checking you out and I was like, man, you got some good content. And here's the thing that not everybody understands, and it's something I'm a true believer in. People love you when you are you. When you are I hate saying this word because it's kind of played out, authentic. I don't like that. How about just be you? All the ups and the downs, the success and the failures, especially when you own the failures, people love you when you're you. I know I'm flawed. You know what I'm saying? I know like one side of my face is bigger than the other. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see that. Is that true?
It's true, man. Don't look too hard, but I'm just saying, like, I know I'm flawed. But when you are brave enough, to show your failures and your losses, because I'm gonna tell you that story I told you about Miss Tulane and being said, no, you're not gonna get this job, and walk into my car and crying my eyes out. I just recently dove back into my mind, and I started, and I had to dig that up and dig it, and all the feelings and all the hurt. And what did I learn from that? That story, I know, can change somebody's life.
That might have been the best damn day you've ever had.
It took me a while because I had to reprogram it. I had to look at it, analyze it. What can I get out of that? Some of the best learning things I know from watching film when I play football, watching a ton of film, is I got better when a coach showed me where I made mistakes. That helped me not make that same mistake. And how do I recorrect that? My thinking, my alignment, my assignment, my adjustment, all that type of stuff. But some of the worst things that has happened in my life, I now take ownership of it all and I repurpose it. That's what I did to that story. I repurposed that story. And that story now I know can impact people. And thank you for allowing me to share that story, because hopefully somebody, I know it will, at least one person, it can help them become better. My man, let's go.
I was watching one of the quotes, and it was like, even if that one person is you, but yeah, you got me. I know you got me. I love it.
Yep.
You inspiring the hell out of people.
My man.
I love it.
I love to hear that. Thank you. Give me goosebumps, dude. I'm doing my purpose.
I love it. All right, Alex, let's definitely stay in touch. I'd love to come on your podcast one day.
Yes.
Maybe when I get this thing built up more, I can come on your podcast.
Man, we don't need to wait for all that.
Again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to be a guest on your podcast again, my man. Hidden Doors,
right,
baby. Hidden Doors.
Doors.
I love the name of that too. Hidden Doors.
Yeah. Sort of came out of nowhere. I had such a bad name because I was writing the book, and it was a bad name. I was like, I don't know what the hell. It just came to me. So we'll see.
There you go.
We'll see how it plays out. I like the name.
Good stuff.
All right, man. Thank you again.
All right, God bless.
Night.
You got it.
Yeah, you too.
Peace
All right,
out.
bye.